Welcome everyone back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is DFree here today. We are going to go ahead and take a look at the SSJ3 Vegeta Extreme Z Battle event. I'm going to give you guys all the tips and tricks that you need to know in order to be tips and tricks, that you need to know to be successful with this event. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below, whether it's before or after listening to this video, what you guys are going to be running for this event. So anyways, be sure to listen all the way through. Otherwise, because again, I typically like to say this, and it's true, I will probably wind up answering every question that you would have for the most part. If not, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you. That being said, the SSJ3 Vegeta event is now live on the Japanese version of the game, but for future reference, when it comes to global, the information should still be the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the event, the weaknesses to the event, and then we're going to transition into a live team build. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. So with this event, SSJ3 Vegeta, STR, and Tech are now awakening. And in fact, I'll even go over that really quickly just to show you guys kind of what changes were made to those units. So per normal, you're going to want to play all 30 stages. And then since a secondary unit does now awaken, I think this is the first time that two units are awakening at the same time, by the way. But just since a secondary unit is awakening nonetheless, you do have to backtrack, replay some of those stages, as you see here, to get the secondary medals, stage 20, 25, 30. It gives you the option to play these stages, so you do need to go back and run them a handful of times each, I guess, in order to get the medals to awaken the secondary unit. So by completing the first 30 stages at least once, you get all of this stuff: 30 stones, 11 Kais, the orbs. It's a nice amount of orbs there. I really need STR orbs too. And then all of these. So be sure that you go back and just make sure that you play these nonetheless. So anyways, post 31, post 30, excuse me, all you are going to get is these statues there. So anyways, moving on. So a couple of events ago, they implemented this little cap on SSR units that can't go TUR, like Devilman, where he comes through and at max can only do 2 million damage, meaning he will not be able to one-shot the event. So you are going to have to actually try to play against the event. Another thing to note is that since Vegeta's actual card can actually stun you, and this is something that pretty much rings true for almost every event in the game anyway, where they have a little thing where they can stun you or debuff you or whatever the case is, they will do it. Important thing to note is Vegeta has a chance to stun your units if he hits them with a super attack, so be aware of that. Anyways, moving on. The SS3 category is the category that takes less damage and also mitigates Vegeta's damage reduction and causes increased damage. However, they won't be able to bypass Vegeta's damage reduction against specific types. Long story short, what this is saying is that if you are using off AGL units pretty much, Vegeta's just going to take reduced damage, and then especially if you're using non-SS3, non-AGL units, you are going to struggle, right? That's just how it is. So that's kind of, I guess, their way to combat using other categories. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is an event that Potara can still beat or whatever the case is. Typically, teams like Potara can beat all of these events, but I did hear that Super AGL struggles against this, so it's probably one of the easy or the harder events just in general. I haven't actually began it myself. So anyways, they do have a little note here that says allies that are not part of the effective category and are also not the effective type will have to face both damage reductions, which is what I just mentioned. So if they're not SS3, and then on top of that, if they're not AGL pretty much, they are going to have to deal with a lot of damage reduction. They're not going to do anything. If they are SS3, but they're another color, they have a better chance of doing damage pretty much. So anyways, let's move on. We're going to take a look at all of the SS3 category units in the game. So, like I said, Super AGL, from what I hear, kind of struggles, but be advised that you can still run a Super AGL team that features any combination of some of these AGL SS3 units. Maybe you can run 2 or 3 or 4 of them on your team and you'd be fine. You can also do the thing where you lead with this AGL Goku, because he actually has the exact same percentage increase as the Super AGL leader, which is SS4 Vegeta, which is a 120% across the board 3-key boost. So this guy's in the SS3 category. He's in all the categories that he would be applicable to, I guess. But nonetheless, you can run him. He's going to have type advantage and category effectiveness during the event. So if you have this guy, he's one of the best possible units you can run, especially if you don't have the SS3 category leader, which is SS3 Bardock. You can build your team with that blue Goku as your leader, or take a friend leader, whatever the case is, and then just fill it out with some of these other AGL units like the EZA Goku that some of you guys probably have, courtesy of the Redstone, I believe, and things like that. And then also this guy here, who I've actually 100%ed a long time ago. Very good unit, very solid. And then, of course, there's a couple more AGL variants, such as the Trunks and the Bardock that's not really free to play, I guess, but like kind of free to play. Not really. I mean, you have to summon the unit. So anyways, this guy and then Trunks as well. So you can, there's a situation where, long story short, you can come with mainly AGL units if you're struggling, long story short. So let's go ahead and close these out and talk about some other things. By the way, You could also do the thing where you lead with a leader like this if he's your only main leader. 3k 70% is not a great amount, but it does kind of get the job done, right? So anyways, moving on. So what I want to do is transition into, like I said, a live team build. So right now we're looking at all of the SS3 category units in the game. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys the best units that you would want to bring just in general. So we're going to throw this guy in because obviously he's your leader. Just keep in mind, he is not going to be able to bypass one of the reduction buffs that are debuffs that the Vegeta is applying. So long story short, what you're going to want to do is just literally stick to AGL units that are in this category with this guy as your leader to supercharge them, offer them that 170% boost. This guy is going to be your best friend on this event here, the Goku, because he's an Extreme Z Awoken unit. He hits very, very hard here now. Now, the other units are not the best offensive units. The Goku here can be after a little bit. He's always going to have that category, so he's always going to be really good here. This guy's a very well-rounded unit offensively and defensively. Trunks is more of a defensive unit, but you can put him on if you need to. But ideally, I will recommend having at least a few type advantaged units because it does help defensively, and they'll be able to do a little bit more damage. Now, what you can also do is transition into other elements. I am not going to enable physical just because disadvantage, right? But if you need to dip into physical, there are a few in there that are respectable that you can use. Now, I wouldn't recommend using the Broly because defense down. Now, this guy also reduces his own defense, but still one of the more hard-hitting units, so I am assuming that he can come through and pretty much one-shot a lot of phases, so I do think he deserves a spot on this team. And if you want to do something like that and then round the team out with a support unit, just to offer a little bit more offense, like this guy here, and also he could potentially be really good because of the fact that he can transform sometimes. That's pretty much how you would want to do it. Now, of course, keep in mind he can be on the team with AGL because STR actually has Ape in his name, so they can be on the same team together. So you can come through with a team like this and pretty much clear the event relatively easily. Also, sometimes you're going to get knocked below your threshold to where you can trigger your leader skill support passive, and that's even better, right? So that's how you can do things. Now, if you're concerned about having a little bit more defense for offense, you can make a trade like this. You can bring this unit to his own EZA stage, and he should maintain his passive if you have a team like this throughout the entirety of the event. He also shares pretty much every link, I believe, literally every link with the SS3 Goku, so they can be on rotation together, and you can do something like that and you'd be successful. Now, there are going to be situations where maybe you have to swap this guy out for this guy. Equally as good link partner for the Vegeta, but unfortunately you do lose type advantage, so that's gonna of course make it a little harder for you defensively and offensively, as we've already covered. Now, that's what I would like to just kind of point out for you guys as far as that goes. Now, what about the scenario which I've kind of already dipped into where you don't have access to the Bardock leader? So let's just go ahead and clear this out. Now, if you don't have access to the Bardock leader, right, that means that you also have room to run this guy in your team, because he can't be on the team if Int is on the team. So let's just go ahead and put him already here. Very solid link set as well. I'm going to go ahead and pull him back up because we already had him open. So we're going to transition back over to Bardock here, and his super attack reduces defense. Super Saiyan 3 category leader, by the way. But I mean, at this point, yeah, I mean, I guess, because he does offer Int, which your friend leader, if you bring SS3 as your friend, would want. But, I mean, ideally, you're going to run the 120 leader, which I'll get to in a minute. Supreme damage, plus 80% when performing a super attack, and plus 80% defense for 5 turns. So, again, 5 turns isn't the longest, but with type advantage, I mean, that should be good, particularly if you have him at Rainbow, because at Rainbow, he's going to be pretty successful on this event. So, moving on back over to the team build, which is over here. You can put that guy on your team. And again, I'm going to operate under the assumption that a lot of people do have this Goku here just because of the multitude of red stones. But if you don't, you can find a replacement for him. That's fine, either in like another AGL unit or whatever you need, just in general, because you can dip into Super AGL if you are running the team that way, which I'll get back to in a moment. So in the situation where you don't have that leader, though, ideally your best leader is this guy. He's your best possible leader, but there are a few other leaders that are, I guess, a little easier, a little bit harder to acquire depending on the situation. So first thing I want to point out is we have these two leaders here. 1000-day Goku, 100% leader. He's not going to do much, but he can just function as an off-rotation unit for whatever case, you know, and he can also heal you up a little bit, so worth consideration. Also, this guy here, very good support unit. I would actually choose him as your leader over the 1000-day Goku if you do have him. This guy's from Super Battle Road. For the record, the Gohan Super Battle Road variant offers 3 key 77% versus the 100% this guy offers. So for one, this guy's already better. Gohan also has that disadvantage. This guy has dodging. He has increases in passive. He's amazing. So like if you can run this guy, even if you don't have dupes of him, I would consider that as well if you are struggling for a leader. But again, let's look at some more other options that we have as well. There is a handful of them, right? You can dip into some of these super class leaders as well. So let's go ahead and open up the Vegito and then open up the Vegito here. So Vegito Blue forces you to run every element on your team, which is unfortunate, I guess, because at best you'll be running like what, 2 AGL units. So there's that. And also, if you do dip into these types of leaders that are not a part of the category, I want to note that, you know, the Bardock will not be supportive of them. He will not offer his increase. But the thing about the Bardock too that makes him such a good friend leader alongside that Int Goku is because Bardock does actually offer super Int types some sort of increase, 3 key, 90%, I believe. So that guy's your best possible replacement leader here, right, if you have him. But again, we do have a Vegito, super class, 3 key, 70%. A lot of you guys should have this guy, 120, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and transition into the final segment here. And I wanted to take a look at some of the super AGL units as well to give you guys just a little bit more of an option. I don't mean to turn some of these off, but it's kind of happening. So we just want to turn that off and turn back over some none. We are now sorted by attack. I did enable some AGL units as well. So let's take a look at some of the super AGLs that'll be solid here. So again, whichever you prefer is your leader, I guess. But we're going to knock Vegeta off just because while Vegeta's good, he has type advantage, but he's going to take quite a bit of damage in my approximation on this event. So we're going to try to stick to units that can either mitigate damage or are a part of a category so we can show you guys the example for the Super AGL variant of this team, and which you can take this Goku as a friend too, and then you'd be fine in most scenarios. So let's go ahead and scroll down a bit. So we're also going to pick up the Goku SS3 GT that we had prior, wherever he's at. I don't see him. He's in here somewhere. You guys probably see him. I don't see him. But just know he's supposed to be on this team. We're also going to come back to the next little segment that I was going to bring up. But yeah, SS3 Goku, I don't see him. We'll treat this guy as him, right? I'm blind. I don't see him. But you guys know what I'm talking about. SS3 GT Goku that I said is very good in the SS3 category. This one right here. So this guy is a part of the team right now as far as this team build goes, and he's being proxied by this. Now, what I would consider, right, to fill out the team is either a support unit or units that link pretty well, or, last little bit, a unit that can mitigate damage or dodge like Caulifla or something like that. So you have options like Tapion, you have options like Caulifla, like I said, you have the SSG units that are options as well. I would steer clear of this guy because he's not going to be the best tank. He's also going to be hurting you a little bit here. Alash, you could probably do it. And again, you have support options like the Pan here, the Gohan, the Super Vegeta, things of that nature. SSBE Vegeta is also worth consideration because he does link pretty well with this setup, and he will actually come through and start transforming and just be a very well-rounded unit. You know, I can't really say he's good on this event without acknowledging that this guy will be good on this event too. It's just this guy has a better cap offensively anyway. So let's move on from that. But again, ideally, you do put that SS3 Goku there and then probably round it out with a support unit alongside a unit that can mitigate damage a little bit. So anyways, that's pretty much it, everybody. My voice cracked there. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And I just want to make sure that I covered everything, right? I'm pretty sure I covered everything. Oh yeah, so I didn't actually show you guys what the cards do. Let's do that really quickly. So I knew that I was going to do something else. I felt like it. So we're going to go over the SS3 category and then show up the Vegeta and the other Vegeta here. Now you guys have probably already seen this Vegeta in action. I'll put a video in the description for you to check out where I'm able to trigger his 120% attack boost because he only gets that when the enemy is stunned, and also reduces damage for 3 increased turns. So it goes from 7 to 10. Immense damage. That's pretty much it. Leader skill change, of course. The SA now caps out at 15. Stat gain, all that stuff. Now this guy, the tech one. All types get 3 key 40%. And supreme damage and lowers attack. Also, 90% instead of 70 at the start of the turn. He gets 2 key and 120% to defense when key is 10 or more. 10 or more key is really easy to get. Also, so he only gets the 2 key whenever he's at 10 key. So he's supering from 10 key. So that's kind of their way of patching up the fact that he doesn't have over and flash, which it's kind of like just give the unit the link, but they don't update links on EZAs, unfortunately, because a lot of these older units that have gotten EZAs would like to pick up new kits. So unfortunately, that's a thing. But nonetheless, I do think he picks up a good upgrade. I do have him 100%ed, and I was just waiting for him to roll around. So he's going to be the first one of the 2 that I actually do awaken. And then I'll have a video for him hopefully sometime soon. So anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below which team you guys will be running. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know as well. Thank you all for the continued support here on the channel. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch all of you in the next one.